In this video, we will learn how to create auto-scaling group in AWS using AWS Console. So for that, let's go to EC2 and click on Instances. As you can see, we don't have any instance running right now. So in order to create auto-scaling group, we need to go to bottom. After load balancing, there is a auto-scaling. So let's click on auto-scaling groups. And here we want to click on create auto-scaling group. And we need to give the name for this auto-scaling group. I want to give it like my ISG, which means my auto-scaling group. The next one is launch template. The launch template basically contains the instance level settings such as AMI, instance type, key pair, and security groups. So let's click create a new launch template in a new tab. And here we need to give the launch template name. Let's say my launch template. And if you want, you can provide description. So next one is application and OS images. For this, we want to click on quick start and we want to select the Amazon Linux. And you can proceed with Amazon Linux 2023 AMI, which is free tier eligible. And for instance type, we want to select T2.micro. It's also free tier eligible. For key pair, we don't include in launch template. That's why I select the don't include in launch template. For network settings, we want to select existing security group, which is launch wizard 1, not a default. So you can leave all the other configuration as it is and click on advanced details. Here at the bottom, we want to have some user data. For that, I want to go to my GitHub and copy the AWS user data script. So the link is in the description. You can also go and copy that and paste it here and click on create launch template. So let's go back now. And if we click on this refresh button and click on select the launch template, you can see there is a my launch template that we have just created together. So you can also see the details like the instance type, security groups. Next, let's click on next. And next we want to configure network. Here we can leave the default VPC. And for the availability zones and subnets, we want to select all the availability zones here, which is available for you. So let's click on next. Then we want to configure load balancing. So I want to attach to an existing load balancer. And here I want to choose from your load balancer target groups. And here I'm going to select the target group, which is my TG instances, which is my application load balancer. So in this case, I have already created load balancer in the previous video. If you don't have any load balancers or target groups that you have created so far, so you can refer to my previous video. So next one is health checks. So I want to turn on elastic load balancing health checks, which is recommended, as you can see. And we can click on next. Next one is group sizing. As you can see, we have a desired capacity, minimum capacity, and maximum capacity. So we want 2 desired capacity, which means that this is the actual capacity where your instance run all the time. And we want at least 1 minimum capacity, and we want most capacity like 4 instances. And next one is scaling policies. This is optional, so you don't have to change it. And click on next. So we don't want any notifications or tags, so I'm going to click on next. And we can review once again and click on create auto-scaling group. And now as you can see, I have my ASG, which is auto-scaling group, and you can see my launch template. You can see it right now, we don't have any instances because the status showing us updating capacity. So you can refresh and give it some time. And now you can see there is 2 instances. So if you click on this checkbox, you will see a lot of details related to auto-scaling group, like activity, auto-scaling, instance management. So if you click on instance management, you can see there is 2 instances with instance ID, and the lifecycle show us the pending, and the health status, as you can see, it's showing healthy. But what you can do, you can go to dashboard here, and here you can go to load balancing and click on target groups. And here you can see I have my TG instances target group. If I click on that, you will see lots of details like targets, monitoring, health checks, attributes, and tags. I want to click targets, and here I can see there is 2 instances running and the health status showing initial. So this is another magic of autoscaling, which integrates with load balancing. As you can see, this is because of autoscaling. We can see there is 2 target groups. And here, if I click on health checks, you can see there is a health check settings. If I click on edit, you can see the health check protocol. If I click on advanced health check settings, you can see health check port, which is traffic port. So we want to change the healthy threshold from 5 to 2. Unhealthy threshold is 2. Timeout, let's make it 2. And for the interval, I want to make it 5. So this is because why we are changing these healthy, unhealthy thresholds or the timeout or interval in order to speed up, in order to make the healthy faster. So let's click on save changes, and you can go to the targets again and details. You can see we have healthy. So we need to refresh this basically, and we need to wait a bit. Now I want to go to load balancing and click on load balancers. And here, as you can see, I have a demo ALB load balancer, which is application load balancer. And if I click on this checkbox, you will see that we can see lots of details about this load balancer. So we basically want to copy the DNS name, and in a new tab, we want to paste it. And as you can see, we have a simple hello world message. And with the different host, if I refresh this, you will see the different host, because we have 2 desired capacity instances. And for example, if one of our instances terminates, like as an example, let's refresh these instances. And if I, for example, stop one of these instances, let's go to actions and click on instance state and click on terminate instance. You will see that this will shut. Now it's instance state showing us shutting down. This will disappear, and instead of this instance, there will be another instance, because as you remember, we configured the maximum capacity to 4. So it will change us with a new instance state. If I refresh this, you will see now. Let's give it some time because it's still shutting down. Let's refresh this page. And we need to give more time, I guess. So basically what we are doing here is that we are terminating one of the instances because we have, as you can see, the actual capacity is 2. We want to have one more instance. So we don't have to manage it because autoscaling, we have already configured autoscaling groups. So it will manage us instead of manually. As you can see now, another instance now is in pending state. So this will also be running now. And another one that we have terminated shows the instance state as a terminated. So this is another magic of autoscaling. So as you can see, it's a manage it. So it will manage you automatically. So now as you can see, it's showing us running instance state, and now the status check shows initializing. So this is how you can create autoscaling group in AWS using AWS console. So once you are done with configuring autoscaling, you have to delete it. So in order to delete, you cannot just go to instances and here you cannot just terminate them, because it will terminate them, but it will create again because we have an autoscaling group. So first you have to go to autoscaling groups and click on my ASG, which is your autoscaling group. And you have to click on actions and delete. And you have to click on delete. So you have to type basically and click on delete. And once you delete your autoscaling, you have to go to load balancers. And you also have to delete your load balancer. Click on actions and delete load balancer. and just confirm that and click on delete. So once you delete, your instances will automatically be terminated because you have just deleted auto scaling. So this will take a few times. So that's all about it for this video, and I will see you in the next lecture.